All right, hello guys, and welcome to the second lesson on Microsoft Word here at Learn.io. We're going to talk a little bit about inserting various things into your documents today. But before we do that, let's just talk about opening documents that you've previously worked on. So here we have our recent documents down here. If you decide to pin one of these, like I just did with that, you can then go to your pinned section and only the documents that you've pinned will show up here. I'm just going to unpin this. You can also see documents that people have shared with you, or you can go to the Open tab, and then you can see all your documents from here. So we're just going to open document 1. And so one thing I do believe we forgot to mention last time was saving. Big oversight. On Google Docs, which is very similar to this, everything automatically saves. And if you see here, I've turned on an auto-save feature on my Word document, which basically means that if I exit out, it'll automatically save it in Word. But that's not always a default option, so you should know how to save things. You go to File, Save As, should be an option. Save Copy, sorry. This has already been saved before, so it doesn't show the Save As option. But you would go to Save As, and it will give you all these same options right here. You could browse a place to save it to, or you could save it right here to wherever you want to save it. But then you'd basically do that, hit Save right here, and then from then onwards, anytime you want to save the document, you could just either press the Save over here, or Control S, and it'll save the document to the location that you saved it to last time. But with all of that said, let's get down to how to add things. So we talked last time about adding text. You can just type away, hello, this is my document. Wow, woo, fun. But you can also go to the Insert tab, and there's a whole bunch of things you can do here. So let's say we're writing, did I really mistype document? Yeah, I really did. I forgot the U. That's great. But yeah, so let's say you're writing a story, and you wanted a title, for example. So I could have the tale of my document. I think I spelled it right this time. But, okay, cool, I'll do this centered, bold U, cool, fun, wow. But, typically titles are on their own page. There's nothing else on the title page but the title and the name of the author. So there's two ways I could move this all the way down. I could manually hit enter all the way down to move this onto new lines until it moves down here. Or I could save myself the effort and just page break. Boom, next page. And that basically cuts the page right where you are. So this is really useful if you're writing large manuscripts, you have a lot of text that you've written already. And then later on you decide, okay, well, I want this stuff to be on a different page, I want this stuff to be on a different page. Then you can just insert page breaks and it'll automatically do all that work for you. Shortcut for page break is Control Return or Control Enter. So you just Control Enter, there you go, it's on a new page. Simple as that. You can also insert blank pages in the middle. It's not as useful as page break, but yeah, if you have a lot of text, a lot of work that you've written down, and you want to add a page in the middle just to add another set of information, maybe useful if you're doing reports on something, then you can add a page by using this. Cover page, I realize you can't see these options most likely, but whenever you see kind of like a report, if you go to like the UN website when you're doing research, the World Happiness Report, for example, there's always a cover page, a title page with the name of the report written on it. So I could insert a cover page. I'll just add a pretty simple one here, branded, and that's what this does. It gives you a document title thing, so I could copy paste my title in there, the tale of my document. Wouldn't necessarily recommend this for books, but it's an option. That copied it with all of the formatting. But yeah, and that's actually one thing to keep in mind. Whenever you paste things, a lot of times they will keep their formatting. There's a way to get rid of that. You press this down button, and the paste symbol with an A only pastes without any of the formatting. It just pastes the text. So there you go, the tale of my document. Now we have a cover page. So that's pretty cool. That's something you can insert. You can also insert tables. So I mean, if you're doing like a lab report for science, and you need a data table. You can add in as large or small of a table as you want. Once you've added it in, you can also change its size up a bit. Here we go. Make this a little less wide. Cool. It's a nice looking data table. You know, you add your information, do whatever. I mean, honestly, it might be nicer to insert it from Excel or something, but you know, it's a functional data table. It does its job. It's not bad. Other things you can add pictures. Similar to other Microsoft softwares, you go into pictures, you go into saved pictures, and you just kind of add whatever picture you want, really. So let's say I have the Africa picture. Cool, beautiful. I now have a picture in my document. Keep in mind, if you want to get rid of the table, just click delete. You can delete the cell, column, row, or the entire table. Cool. Pretty similar for pictures. If you click on a picture, you have picture formatting options. For a little more detail on this, I recommend going to our Microsoft PowerPoint series, where I do talk a little more about remove background, corrections, and all of these different things you can do here. We're not going to talk about that too much right now, though. Insert. You can also add shapes, icons, charts, etc. Again, this is all the exact same as on Microsoft PowerPoint. So if you want to get a little more into that, I do recommend looking at Microsoft PowerPoint. But there's some differences, so we're going to go over those right now. You can add comments in Word. So I can add a comment basically saying, hey, you could find a better picture here. So if you're kind of you finish your document and you're letting people review it, you could tell them to just comment all of their things in, and it'll just tell them, hey, they're talking about this picture. So if you have a lot of pictures, it'll show an arrow to whichever picture they're talking about. You can then reply to the comments or resolve. I know Google Docs has a very similar feature. So that's commenting. You can also insert headers and footers. So I'm going to ignore the first document actually. Header, I can insert basically. So if you want it at the beginning of your document, pretend we didn't have the title page, right? You could add a header of name, period, and then date. So that way it's in the top, it's in the margins, it's above everything else, and that'll kind of show up in your document. You can also, oh my gosh, sorry, my mouse is kind of misbehaving a little bit. You can also insert footers. So at the very bottom of your page, let's say you had a bunch of asterisks. You could say kind of asterisks equals, and then talk about whatever you're talking about, right? Hello. Sure, right. Point being, you can add footers like that. You can also work on page numbers. So you can insert page numbers into the top of the page, the bottom of the page, into the margins, or wherever your mouse is right now. So I like having mine in the top right here, and it automatically numbers your pages as you go along. It's pretty nifty, pretty nice trick, especially useful when you're trying to write long stories, books, reports. If you ever try to publish a book, really good to have that. Publishers love it. And yeah, you can also insert text boxes. Again, that's pretty similar to PowerPoint. If you haven't seen those videos, do recommend giving those a look. You can also insert word art. This is pretty cool stuff. It's pretty simple stuff too. You can move this around anywhere onto your screen, your text here. I'll just leave this the default text. You can see there's a bunch of styles for word art. So if I go home, shape format. I can make this look as cool or lame as I want. So hello, let's select this. And let's change this to be a little cooler. I can add a glow to it. So it glows kind of orange. I can give this like a bold border. I can get rid of the outline border. I can change the color of the text itself as much as I want. There's a whole bunch of things you can do with it. You can also make it like very different word art. So that's one of those things that you kind of want to mess around with a little bit to see what works, see what you like. Again, shape, fill, all of these things are very similar to our PowerPoint lessons. So for a little more understanding of all these formatting tools, I do recommend going and checking out our Microsoft PowerPoint series on Learn.io. But yeah, so you can insert all of those, and then you can also insert these things called quick parts. So those include kind of like a title, a author line. If you're doing, if anybody's competed in the science fair, any of you, then you know that you always need to have an abstract at the beginning of your paper. And so Quick Parts allows you to really easily add an abstract thing right at the beginning. It'll give it a nice little format with a box and everything. It looks very nice. It works very effectively. You can add in signature lines. You can add in dates. And then you can also insert equations and symbols. So if you type in insert equation, I'm going to move this just because, or I'm going to get rid of the word art because it's kind of getting in the way here. But yeah, you type your equation, and it gives you kind of, well, stop giving me the option. If I go to insert equation, it gives you all of these options on the top for all sorts of characters and numbers and styles that you need to create equations. And if you don't find what you need, you can go to insert symbol, and they have literally every symbol. So there's all of these, and if you click more symbols, they have Latin characters, they have Greek characters, they have Arabic characters. Everything you could want is available there. It does take just a moment to find things sometimes. But yeah, it's extremely useful when you're trying to do lab reports, when you're trying to do documents where you need to show your work. And yeah, so hopefully that taught you something. Hopefully you learned something there, and I hope to see you next time.